Alright, chapter 21. Of what a prince should do to acquire prestige. Nothing can bring a prince more esteem than great feats and extraordinary actions. In our time we have Ferdinand of Aragon, the present king of Spain, who could almost be called a new prince because he started out as a weak monarch, but through fame and glory has become the foremost king of Christendom. If you consider his deeds, you will find that they are great, some of them even extraordinary. At the beginning of his reign, he attacked Granada, an exploit that was to establish the cornerstone of his state. He did this quite casually, without the least concern that anyone might hinder him. He kept the attention of the barons of Castile, trained on his enterprise, and with their minds on this war, they did not think of introducing any changes. Before they realized what was happening, he had overshadowed them in prestige and power. He managed to build up his army with funds from the church and the people, and during the long war in Granada, he firmly established this army, which subsequently brought him much honor. To launch ever greater campaigns, he invariably made use of religion, resorting to a pious cruelty, robbing the Marranos, Marranos, and routing them from his kingdom. No example of an extraordinary act is more pitiful and strange. Under the same mantle, he attacked Africa. He campaigned in Italy, recently invaded France, and has always plotted and carried out great feats that have captured the imagination of his people and kept their eyes on the outcome. He has launched these exploits in such quick succession that he has never given anyone an opportunity to conspire against him. It also befits a prince to take extraordinary action in internal affairs. It also befits a prince to take extraordinary action in internal affairs, such as the exploits told of Bernabo of Milan. When someone does something in civil life that is extraordinary, good or bad, the prince should find a way to reward or punish this person. That will be much talked about. Above all, a prince must endeavor in all his actions to give the impression of being a superior man of extraordinary intelligence. Above all, a prince must endeavor in all his actions to give the impression of being a superior man of extraordinary intelligence. A prince is also revered when he is a true friend and a true enemy. In other words, when he declares himself without reservation in favor of one man against another. This kind of resolution is always more useful than if he remains neutral, because if two powerful neighbors come to blows, these neighbors will either be of a kind where you have to fear the winner or not. In either case, it will be more useful for you to take a position and wage an honest war, in the case where you have no fear the winner. If you do not commit yourself, you will fall prey to whoever wins, to the delight and satisfaction of whoever loses. You will fall prey to whoever wins, to the delight and satisfaction of whoever loses. Neither side will have reason or cause to come to your assistance, for the winner will not want the kind of ally who did not come to his aid in adversity, nor will the loser give you refuge, since you were not prepared to share his fate with your weapons drawn. Antiochus was summoned to Greece by the Aetolians, Aetolians, to expel the Romans. So Antiochus was summoned to Greece by the Aeolians to expel the Romans. He sent orators to the Achaeans, Achaeans, who were allies of Rome, urging them to remain neutral, while Roman orators were urging them to take up arms for the Roman cause. The Achaeans weighed the matter in their council. When Antiochus's emissary argued that they should stay neutral, the Roman emissary replied, "Though they tell you not to intervene in our war, nothing would be further from your interests. Once you have lost esteem and character, you will end up as the victor's prize." This is what it says in that language. I think it's Italian. Quod autem isti dicunt non interponendi vos bello, nihil magis Ellenum rebus vestris est, sine gratia, sine dignitate, premium victoris eritis. He who is not your ally will always urge you to remain neutral, while your ally will urge you to come to his aid with your arms. The irresolute prince will most often follow the path of neutrality in order to avoid immediate danger. To be irresolute, to be unsure, and will most often come to ruin. But when a prince boldly declares himself for one of the two sides, even if that side wins and is powerful and he remains in principle at its mercy, that side will be obliged to him and bound by contract of allegiance. And men are never so deceitful that they would subjugate someone in such a striking display of ingratitude after he had come to their aid. Furthermore, victories are never so decisive that the victor can wholly disregard justice. If the prince supported the losing side, that side will receive him and help him to the extent that he can, and he will become its companion in a destiny that may well resurge once more. When they who fight one another are such that you need not fear whoever wins, it is all the more prudent for you to take sides. So when it says, when they who fight one another are such that you need not fear whoever wins, it is all the more prudent for you to take sides. That way you instigate the ruin of a ruler with the help of another ruler who, were he wise, would be eager to save him. In this case, it is impossible for the side you are helping not to win, and in winning it remains in your debt. Here I would like to note that a prince should avoid forming an alliance with a power stronger than himself merely in order to attack another, unless, as I have said before, necessity compels him. Because if that power wins, he will end up its prisoner, and princes must do their utmost to avoid ending up in another's power. The Venetians allied themselves with France against the Duke of Milan, even though they could have avoided this alliance, and it resulted in their ruin. If one cannot avoid such an alliance, as happened with the Florentines when the armies of the Pope in Spain attacked Lombardy, then the prince must enter alliances for the reasons I have given. Nor should any state believe it can always make secure choices. In fact, all choices should be considered dubious, because it is in the nature of things that you can never escape one setback without running into another. Wisdom consists of knowing how to recognize the respective qualities of the setbacks and choosing the lesser evil. A prince must also prove himself someone who admires ability. A prince must also prove himself someone who admires ability, furthering skillful men and honoring those who excel in what they do. He must also make certain that his citizens can go about their work unhampered in trade, agriculture, and all the other professions, so that no one will be afraid of accumulating possessions out of fear that they might be taken away, or afraid of starting a business for fear of taxes. The prince must reward whoever wants to do these things and whoever wants to improve either the city or the state in some way. Furthermore, at certain times of the year, he has to keep the population busy with feasts and spectacles, and as every city is divided into guilds and clans, he must also keep those groups in mind, meeting with them from time to time and always showing himself as humane and munificent, M-U-N-I-F-I-C-E-N-T, like municipality, like dealing with the people. As humane and munificent, he must always remain within the bounds of his majesty and dignity, which must never be absent. So he also keep groups in mind, meeting with them. So furthermore, at certain times of the year, he has to keep the population busy with feasts and spectacles. And as every city is divided into guilds and clans, he must also keep those groups in mind, meeting with them. All right, y'all. Peace.